Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Year of the Bird. Um, Obviously, I believe this is the first time, and both of us didn't lose both games, which I guess is good. Um, but yeah, it should be a really good show. Not because of Spurs, I'll be honest, but because of a game on Sunday, not Spurs. We'll talk about that game on Sunday near the end of the show. But yeah, first of all, once again, welcome to Year of the Bird. And Charlie, how are you?
I'm good. I mean, it's good for once that I can come on here and talk about not one but two wins. Last show, we went on this, disgusting run of form. Whether we've turned a corner remains to be seen. I'm still a bit skeptical of that, but you've got to start somewhere. And look, we've had two wins. Big up to Nick as well. We've had two wins in a row. Can we make it three in a row? Obviously, we'll talk about that. But yeah, I'm doing good. Obviously, yeah, Year of the Bird, the Newcastle and Spurs show. This should be interesting. I'm looking forward, even though it's not about Spurs, I'm looking forward to talking about this derby because listen, you've waited in the league anyway. I know you played them in the cup, but in the league, you've waited 8 years for this. So this should be good. So I'm looking forward to talking about that. And I can feel you're kind of you're rattled. You're kind of like I can feel your tension. And big up to Angus as well. Listen, Unai done you guys again. He did it again. He never disappoints against you guys. So it is what it is. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, all good. Big up to 10. Looking forward to getting in the show. Subscribe to both channels if you haven't already. Like the stream, whichever one you're watching, it's being broadcasted on both. And yeah, like I said, looking forward to getting into it.
Yeah, and yeah, obviously, as we said, there's a lot to talk about on this show. But before we actually get into any of the games, and speaking of Unai, you have to play Unai at least two times this season. Whereas we get to play Iraola in the FA Cup third round. So we both got Premier League sides. Both of us have the home games, I believe. But that doesn't matter because it's against Premier League sides.
When it literally could have been anyone. It could have been you had teams like Macclesfield. You had what's the one called like Mare or something?
There was Western Supermare.
Yeah, them. You had who else? You had like Boreham Wood. You had all of these different like National League teams. You had Dorking, was it? Boom Shakalaka.
Something like that.
Yeah, you had all these teams. You had obviously all the championship. All the
you know what would have been perfect? Tamworth Town.
Now they were already eliminated, sadly.
But we had Bromley.
You had Bromley last year. But this is the thing, right? And look, to be fair, Angus, not to give you guys too much credit, but I mean the last few years you have got Liverpool, Man United in the third round, you got Man City in the fourth round. So to be fair, you guys have had some, difficult draws in the FA Cup. So you were probably due like a Portsmouth or something if I'm being totally honest. But
so just quick reaction because obviously we're not going to preview that game in 3-4 weeks. So your feelings on getting Aston Villa for a second season in a row, even though different round, but still.
Not good. Obviously they've already beaten us once this season. In a game where I didn't think we deserved anything from. Look, I mean, Aston Villa's a weird one because it's weird because we have an interesting record against them. It feels like when we beat them, we'll like batter them 4-0. Always. Like we beat them 4-1 last year. We beat them 4-0 the year before. It's kind of like what it is. Yeah, whenever we beat them, it's usually like a battering. But then like there's been, especially in the last couple of years, there's been a few games where I think they've really got the better of us. So look, it's a tough draw. Obviously, Unai Emery is a top cup manager. He knows how to navigate knockout competitions. And right now, I mean, this might not be the case come January. Right now, they're on form. They're probably, I think, maybe the last 5 games, they might be the most informed team in the league. So listen, it's not a good draw. It's a tough draw. Not what I wanted in the third round. And it just pisses me off because it's like, I feel like the last few years, and obviously I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, it's rigged, it's scripted. I'm not going to do that. But What I am going to say is that, look, why are we always, I said this to 10 off camera, I was like, why are we always the tie of the round? Why are we always involved in that? It's so annoying because we had Villa in the fourth round last year. We had Manchester City in the fourth round the year before. It's just so annoying.
And lost both.
Yeah, exactly. That's my point. So, listen, we'll have to see what happens. Look, it's like you said, it's way too early to talk about that game. But, right now, looking at it right now, yeah, it's a tough draw. It is a very, very tough draw. Obviously, for you guys, Bournemouth, your bogey team, none other
Yeah.
than
Though, the last time we actually beat them was in a cup competition on the way to reaching a Carabao Cup final, which obviously we lost, but we 2 years later ended up winning it, beating a certain team along the way twice. But yeah, obviously not the best draw. I'll be honest. How many home draws are we getting? Did you notice how many home?
Yeah, you're getting every. Yeah, I'm not. I can't
Like
even lie. You're
in
getting
terms,
every cup draw at home.
yeah.
That's
I
ridiculous.
mean, obviously we'll talk about our Carabao Cup game at the end of the show against Fulham. That's at home. The round before against Spurs, we were at home. The round before that, we're at home, and obviously the semi-final for the Carabao Cup is home and away, so it doesn't matter. I like, and then last season, when we reached the Carabao Cup final, who did we play? Oh, we were Forest away. Okay, Forest away, and then we had technically it should have been AFC Wimbledon away, but because of what happened at the stadium, we played at home, and then Chelsea at home, Brentford at home, and then the semis and all. FA Cup, we got Bromley at home last season. Okay, we got Birmingham away, and I think it was Brighton at home. So like, what? Only two? Yeah, two times we've been drawn away since the start of last
Whereas
season.
with us, apart from actually the last couple of years, it was always away for us. We never got home draws. And then when we do get a home draw, it's against Aston Villa.
Yeah, but I would say obviously the game is not until like 3-4 weeks, so things will change.
Yeah.
Do I think we could win? Yeah, just because it's a cup competition, but I feel like we have to kind of do well now in the FA Cup as well. Like, okay, it's good that we're doing well in the Carabao Cup. Can we go for the double? Like, I think that should be the next step. I think we have a good shot of winning. I mean, everyone has a good shot of winning the FA Cup.
I mean, with a cup competition, you never know. Like,
you saw Crystal
what I'll
Palace.
say about the FA Cup is nobody expected Palace to win last season because Palace had never won a trophy. Yeah. To be fair, Steve did call it, but literally nobody that apart from Steve basically said that Palace would win. So it just shows you that in a knockout competition where it's one-off games, you just never know. If we're being honest.
Yeah, and also both of us went further than Arsenal last season.
Do you know Arteta's record since winning the FA Cup? He's gone out in like the third round, like every time, apart from third or fourth. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
yeah, now
two tough draws. It's not great.
Yeah, and it's like on the weekend of the 10th, 11th of January. So yeah, it's still like a month away. But yeah, now it is time to talk about first the Premier League games this past weekend. And well, both of our games happened at the same time, but we'll start with Spurs beating Brentford. So, well, this one I actually said you win.
Yeah.
And now I forgot what I predicted, but I know I said to win. But how you feel about that?
Yeah, look, I mean, obviously the Brentford game, I came into it with a lot of I was very pessimistic. Oilcastle. I was very pessimistic going into the Brentford game, and rightly so. I don't think I was wrong to think that way. But listen, it was a good performance. Probably the best performance we've put in since the second game of the season, if I'm honest. Like it was, and look, you have to caveat it with saying that Brentford were very poor. I thought they were way worse than I expected them to be against us. But at the same time, we've been failing quite consistently at times, especially at home. We've been failing to beat the teams we should be beating. So the fact that we went and put in that performance against, you can say on the day, a poor Brentford team is an improvement because we weren't beating a poor Fulham team. We weren't beating bottom of the league Wolves. So this is what I'm saying. It was an improvement regardless of the opposition because we were doing so bad against even teams that we should be beating. So look, overall, a good performance. Obviously, good for Xavi to get his first goal for the club. I think his performances have been getting better in the last few games. So I think that, look, I know he's been on the bench recently, but against Brentford and against Slavia, which we'll talk about, I think he's been getting better and better. Hopefully, he's sort of playing himself into form now. Obviously, Richarlison got a goal. It was a tap in that he couldn't miss. Apart from that, I thought he was poor again. But listen, fair play to him. He had to put it away, and he did. And obviously, 2-0 at half time. I thought it was just nice to see us kind of control a game for once. Because I thought in the first half we had total control. Like we didn't give possession away easily. We actually looked okay on the ball. We looked like we can, just kind of go forward, defend. It looked like a more not complete, but a more complete sort of performance. And we actually look like we can create some chances for once. So, listen, definitely an improvement. Second half, I don't think was as good. I thought that, we kind of dropped off a little bit, but obviously still much better than what we've been seeing in recent weeks. So look, it was a win that kind of stopped the rot, if you want to call it that. It was a win that kind of just eased the pressure on Frank and everything going on. It was good to finally get a win at home. He had to end this, disgusting run of home form. So we'll see. We'll see what we do now. We'll see if that Brentford performance was a turning point, or it was just sort of a flash in the pan. We'll have to see, but definitely a performance that I take more encouragement from than I have any performance for quite a long time. And listen, on the day, we deserve the win. We deserve 3 points. And it's good to win. It was a must-win game, and obviously we went and got it. So yeah, we'll see what happens now. But yeah, a good performance from Spurs.
Yeah, and I think because of that win, you jump from 11th to 11th. If I'm not mistaken. So
yeah.
But yeah, obviously for
Listen,
me,
we're not in a good position. Same with obviously Newcastle, but we've got to revive. The revival has to start somewhere, and we'll see if this is the revival or not.
yeah, I think for me, obviously, I did predict Spurs to win. I just think that eventually you have to turn the home form around, and I thought Brentford is probably a perfect game, knowing that Frank obviously knows practically all of the Brentford players there.
I mean, their manager was his set piece coach.
Yeah,
Keith
and
Andrews.
thankfully you didn't concede from a set piece.
No.
But yeah, overall, from what I saw, it was a good performance. As for Xavi Simons, maybe he is becoming Xavi Simmons, but because he also scored a penalty the other day. But I think overall, it seems like he's been improving. But I think it's more about can he do it in sort of like the bigger games. Yes, Slavia, Prague, and obviously this game against Brentford are not as big as a Asna or Chelsea, or those sort of games. So we'll have to wait and see. I do hope he turns up on the 4th of January. But
yeah, of course you do. Sunderland.
go Spurs! Come on, you Spurs! But yeah, I think overall he just needs that time to improve. Which I feel like a lot of new signings this season have been like that, apart from maybe Nick Faltermother and Chow. But yeah, I think overall Simmons has been improving, but it's about is he going to be consistent because he's been off the bench as well. So maybe it's been the right call, would you say, to have him be on the bench?
I mean, honestly, I wasn't a fan of it because he's our only fit number 10. So I think that if you're benching our only fit number 10, then it's like, how are we going to create? So honestly, I wasn't too keen on the idea of him being benched, but I don't know. Maybe it has sort of helped him. I don't know. Maybe that's kind of helped him improve.
Yeah, maybe don't have the pressure like the first minutes or whatever, perhaps for Simmons. But yeah, I mean, overall, I felt like it was a good performance from Spurs, and at least you got your second home win
At last, way overdue. Way overdue. But
since Burnley. But
yeah.
yeah, I mean, I guess can move on. And speaking of Burnley, we did beat Burnley, Newcastle. Newcastle 2-1 against Burnley. Not with Sean Dyche, but with Scott Parker of all managers. Um but yeah, overall, I did predict, I think 1-1 or 2-2. And I'll be honest, it could have actually been 2-2.
Yeah.
It probably should have, but
Yeah.
obviously it didn't, thankfully. Um, the first half, you could say this game was sort of like the Spurs Brentford game, whereby first half, the home team, that being us, were just quality wise better than Burnley. And obviously, we scored 2 goals before halftime.
Another penalty for you guys. How many penalties are they going to give you guys?
Oh, and that wasn't the only penalty we had that we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
I do think both were penalties in both games, but for this game, the only threatening thing that Burnley had was from corners, from set pieces, which we'll talk about those in the game that happened last night, because obviously it didn't really amount to anything for Burnley. But when it's against a better opposition, like we'll talk about later, then not Sunderland, I mean Leverkusen. Then yeah, but I feel like it was they Burnley were more threatening when it's set pieces like corners. But when we got our first corner of the game, we scored, and it's not like a headed in or whatever. No, it was an Olympico, basically.
Like remember Son against Man United in the Carabao
Yeah,
Cup last
in
season?
the
Just like
competition,
that.
you ended up making a semi-final at least. Woo! You could have had us in the final, but
Listen, we won a bigger trophy than you guys last
uh,
season.
yeah. But it was actually, I saw it was the first time we scored an Olympico goal in the Premier League ever.
Really? You
I
never
think
scored one before?
I think so. I think I saw it somewhere that we haven't scored a goal like that ever until that game against Burnley. But yeah, it was a good goal by Bruno Guimaraes, and this is actually, I believe, apart from his first 6 months when he signed for us in 21-22, this is actually now becoming his best scoring season for
Wow.
us, because like it's probably because he's been sometimes played as more of a number 6 or
That's the thing,
defensive
because
guy.
before you guys were playing him as a 6, when he's actually a number 8. If you
Yeah,
well, from what I've seen of Bruno, like if you play him further forward, he's just much better, like way
yeah,
better.
and obviously now you see with Tonali mostly being in the team to do that job, you allow Bruno Gimenez to be a bit forward, have more assists, or in this case more goals, because like he's been scoring like I think at least once or twice every other game. I mean, from the top of my head, he scored against Forest, scored against Fulham in the last minute, scored against Spurs, this game against Burnley, and maybe a couple more I don't remember. But yeah, he's been quite a good goal scorer. He scored against Liverpool as well, so which was actually our first goal of the season. So he's been probably you could say one of the best midfielders in the Prem.
Yeah, definitely.
And obviously that goal that he scored, the Olympico, definitely helped us. I think it helped the confidence of us in that first half. Gordon was playing like starting, and for once, Gordon's actually been a lot more threatening, I would say, as a winger, because he started the season, how it was against Liverpool, that second game. But, and obviously he's had injuries and all, Gordon, so he hasn't really been the player that he was in the season that Arsenal fans are still thinking that ball went out, but I'm not sure. If you remember that season, Joe Willock kept the ball in. I'm just saying, but yeah. And then when after we scored the first goal, had the confidence, and Burnley, I'll be honest, they just collapsed. Like before we actually had the second goal scored, they were sent off. One of their players was sent off. Perez was sent off, last man, and guess who was the one that made the foul? Alanga was the one. I'm like, oh my god, he's
Yeah.
contributing. It seems like he's Alanga's contributing now. The other day he had an assist. Now he got a player sent off. Um, it could have been a penalty, but it was just outside the box, and we could have actually scored from that free kick from that red card, which Fabian Schär had a shot saved by none other than Martin Dubravka. Hmm. I think Dubravka was like helping us probably. He's like, I feel bad for Newcastle, but um, and then eventually, maybe 5 or 10 minutes or something like that later, I believe it was Lewis Hall or Gordon that crossed the ball into the penalty area, and Voltemato was trying to, I wouldn't say a high boot, but try to control the ball. But one of the Burnley players were like, "No, I don't want to touch Voltemato," and put his arms up in, you could say, unnatural position, and it just unfortunate it hit the ball like this to the Burnley
Yeah.
player, and I mean
He's
that's
playing volleyball. What is this?
yeah. You've seen Van Dijk play volleyball. I know Van Dijk was good the other day against Inter, but you know, but yeah, it was obvious penalty, which you know I don't know how the referee didn't spot that, but okay, or at least not even the linesman. So, but at least thankfully there's VAR, and at least the referee wasn't that bad. We had the penalty. Gordon scored. I think Dubravka was like, you know what? I'll let Newcastle score a second.
Dubravka.
And yeah, that first half was pretty good.
Do you
Second,
remember remember when Dubravka went on loan to Man United? It was so
oh,
random.
actually he has two Carabao Cup
Yeah, it
medals,
was so random why he went there on loan for like half a
and
season
that's
or
kind of why
something.
we got or had Carriers play his one and only game for us in
Yeah.
that final. But second half, not that good. And if Burnley was named like Bournemouth or Brighton or any team apart from Wolverhampton Wanderers, we probably don't win this game somehow.
Mm.
They got a
It
penalty in
was
the
one of those you just had a panic at the end. It's like I hate it whenever that happens to Spurs. I just hate it because it's like you're 2 goals up, you're in control, they get the penalty, and then you're just kind of scrambling, and then
yeah,
they almost score. Like,
yeah, and I mean that's been the story. I mean I'll probably talk about it against Leverkusen later, but yeah. But overall, in the end, we got the win. So we jumped from 14 to 12, so at least we jumped a couple positions. But being 12th or 11th is like being 6th, 7th. You know, it
oh my
depends.
god.
So don't
Oh
blame
my
me. Some
god.
people, but yeah, I think
We're
the
literally we're alongside each other in the table. We've both
yeah,
got
but
22
we're
points
also
with
like what?
identical
We're a
records
point
almost.
behind Liverpool, I believe.
We're 1 point behind Liverpool. Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll see if they still have Mo Salah, but that's pretty off topic. But
Yeah.
I just want to say before we move on and get your thoughts on the Burnley game, Mohamed Salah, free him from the grasp
Yeah, that's
that is
been some
on his
drama.
front. And Liverpool, free Salah. I hope Egypt win the AFCON. If they do, that will prove Jamie Carragher even wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, what are your thoughts on the Burnley game for us?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, yeah, the whole Salah stuff, it's so
Oh,
much
that
drama. It's just it's chaos over there.
Oh, I love it. It's
It's
chapter
chaos.
what 5
And
of the.
I just think whatever happens with Salah, whether he goes or stays or Slot, whether he gets sacked or not,
Mhm.
I just think this whole drama is going to derail their season even more. If I'm being honest, but yeah, look, it was from what I saw. Obviously, I didn't watch it live because I was watching Spurs, but just looking at Newcastle, it was a game that it should have been much more comfortable than what it was. Like you were 2-0 up, you obviously scored the Olympico. You were controlling the game, you were having more shots, more possession, more chances than Burnley. Burnley, apart from a few half moments, they weren't really in the game. Like you guys were clearly like the superior team. So it was kind of, almost unforgivable for you guys to almost let that game slip somehow, which would have been catastrophic. You're 2-0 up. Obviously, the penalty, look, it is what it is. This is against 10 men as well. Like the penalty, look, it is what it is. It's one of those where, it's
Yeah.
that situation. But first of all, you should have been more goals ahead. I think you should have been further ahead before the penalty. Like you should have been at least 3 goals up, which 3-1 at that point, the game's over. But 2-1, it's with a couple of minutes to go. It's very, very nervy. And who was it? It was Fleming, was it, that should have scored that header? It was a clear free header in the box, which I think if that goes in, listen, that would have been one of the biggest sort of collapses I've ever seen in the Premier League, where I can't remember a team being 2 goals up and then drawing 2-2 with 2 minutes to go. The only one I can think of, actually, was Newcastle against Everton. It would have been like that. It would have been the same. It was
Florian Lejeune.
Yeah, in 2020, I think that was.
Yeah, just before the whole COVID stuff.
Yeah, and that was I think that was even more. That was like 2 goals in like
5th. And that was when they had Ancelotti.
It was when they had Ancelotti. And you guys had Steve Bruce. So it would have been like that, just obviously Newcastle being obviously on the wrong end of it. So listen, you guys obviously just about held on in the end, but the game should have been put to bed way before that. But listen, you won the game. That's the important thing. It was a must-win game that you had to win, and you ended up getting the job done. But yeah, should have been a lot more convincing than what it ended up being.
Yeah, and thankfully, I mean, if that header went in,
and he should have scored as well. It was a clear header. He should have scored.
I mean, we'll talk about the game after that we had last night, which once again we conceded or near the end of the game, but yeah, that's the Premier League.
I mean, just quickly as well, I'll get the table up. So. Yeah, I mean, look, it's still not looking great for us because for both our clubs, because look, we're literally like in the Premier League and the Champions League table, which we'll show. We're literally
next to each other,
side by side in both.
You're just above us, I think. Actually, you're 11th in both, and we're 12th in both. Like the standings.
Yeah, that's crazy.
To be honest, it doesn't really matter in the Champions.
When the Champions League, look, it can change after like one match.
Then. Yeah, had we not, I'll talk about it later. We could have actually been 6th if we didn't concede.
Yeah, but I mean, with the Premier League, obviously, look, the good news for both of us is that it's very tight. Obviously, neither of us should be in the bottom half. Like, it's pretty disgraceful that we both are in the bottom half at any point. It should never happen. But we're only both of us on 22 points. Look, we're only 3 points from
Chelsea.
Yeah,
and so you think England is probably going to get the extras.
They will. Yeah, it's like 99%. So look, we're both not far. Like with a couple of wins, things can change very quickly. So, and this is what I'm saying. Like we've been on an absolutely dreadful run. Yet we're still only 3 points behind Chelsea somehow. So it just shows you.
And who's that in 9th? Oh, the team that supposedly has an amazing start to the season. What happened? But yeah, I think obviously the Premier League form for both of us hasn't been good because we're on the same record basically.
Exactly the same record. Yeah.
Yeah, and actually since the international break, we've only lost 1 game, which was against Marseille. So. If you don't want to count Marseille, we've actually been right. Seem to have more red. Yeah.
Yeah, look, in recent, like I said, we were above Newcastle for most of the season, and then this dreadful run of form has kind of, evened it out more in the last few weeks. So, look, the table's still not looking good, but like I said, with a couple more wins, I think both can sort of find themselves up towards, the top.
Man United or.
Yeah, I mean I think that's embarrassing. If I'm honest, that's embarrassing for both of us, for Man United to be above us.
No, I did say Man United to get 5th by the end of.
I said they'd finish. I mean, look, it's still very early. I did say they'd finish 7th, so because they do have 1 game a week, and I think that's why they're as high as 6th, despite how bad they are, because they have
lost to Everton.
Look, they've got 1 game a week. That's what I think has benefited them.
Yeah, and I think overall, in terms of the Premier League. The fact that it's very close between teams at the top and Wolves, that's it. You could say the Premier League is a bit tight, as I said, apart from Wolves, because I saw Wolves has one of the worst ever starts in Premier League history.
Yeah. And
Even
one of their
against the
points
local
was against
party.
us. And that's why we're struggling, because we can't beat teams like that. I know
Yeah,
there are bogey teams, so I guess technically you can say all bets are off, but still, it's embarrassing, man.
yeah, and actually we're above our bogey team as well, Bournemouth.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, I think the Christmas period and New Year period will definitely see some separation amongst teams because that you would say, knock on wood, at least for us, that's when injuries might start getting a bit
That's when
more.
it usually happens for us as well. December's
Yeah,
when like mad injury season, but obviously knock on wood that we don't get any more. We've already got enough. But
yeah.
just quickly as well, before we move on the table, only 2 points. What did I say? Only 2 points between Manchester City and Arsenal. What did I
Oh,
say? Everyone thought, oh, the title's in the bag. Like, well, listen, the pressure's on again, and we know what happens.
yeah. And to be honest, I love who you call this. I love Man City for what they did the
Yeah.
other day. Probably not the game yesterday, but Wolves. Wolves could be facing the Foxes next year. Yeah, unless
Yep.
obviously Leicester get promoted. But to be honest, Coventry are doing an Arsenal at the moment. You know, lost or drew the previous game.
Doing an Arsenal.
So I do think in the end, Coventry and Ipswich get the top two. That's my prediction.
Oh, for the championship. Yeah,
Yeah,
probably.
I don't think Middlesbrough are as good as people think. But and also, you know, we're still the best Northeast team, even though yeah. But yeah, it's time for the glorious nights of the Champions League. Obviously, game 6, so we're practically near the end. But we'll start off with the Tuesday game, which was Spurs 3, Slavia Prague nil. And I'll be honest, you got a bit of help from Zimmer.
We did. We did. Look, I mean, Slavia Prague, there was a few changes to the team. You had the likes of Odebert come in, Colin Moani go to the bench. You had Palinia come in for Bentancur. Obviously, the bad news for us now is I forgot to mention back when I was talking about the Brentford game that Doggy's going to be out till January. So we've got another injury to deal with. We're already short on fullbacks, so it's not a good sort of situation because our only two fullbacks that are fit are Porro and Spence, unless you want to count Davies. But I mean, Davies is more of a centre back now, so it's kind of like we've only got 2 fit fullbacks, and it's a big problem. I think we have to go and sign someone in January, especially if a Doggy isn't back come the start of January, which he might not be. So that's annoying. But look, like I said, I think Spence had a good game against Brentford. I thought Spence had a good game against Slavia as well, filling in. The frustrating thing, I'll just get it out of the way first. The really frustrating thing is that Van der Ven picked up a yellow card and he's now suspended for the Borussia Dortmund game in January, which is obviously, the last 2 games are both must-win games for us in the Champions League. So that was frustrating. But yeah, look, listen, the Slavia game, it was comfortable in the way that I expected it to be. I said we'd win 2-0. Obviously, it ended up being 3-0. Look, I mean, what's funny is you talk about doing an Arsenal. We really did an Arsenal in this game, which is like scoring from set pieces and stuff. 2 penalties and an own goal. I mean, Zimmer, what a finish! I mean, what an absolutely bullet header it was.
I forgot who made I think it was
Porro.
what do you call it? Romero.
Romero made the flick on. Yeah, Romero. It was a good Romero with a fantastic flick on. But yeah, what a finish from.
He's been a lot better this year.
Look,
Unfortunately.
Romero's always been a top player. Obviously he struggled with injuries, but this year so far he's been fit generally. And listen, he's a World Cup winner, and he was the Europa League Player of the Season last year. So there you go. But yeah, look, obviously a great finish from their defender. I mean, we should have gone 1-0 up inside 10 seconds when Richarlison. I mean, the keeper. I mean, to be fair, their keeper made a really good save. Listen, Angus, it's not all about defense because this is what your fans said. This is what your fans said before you played PSG last year in the semi-final. You were like, "Oh, defense and physicality." And what happened was PSG just technically outclassed you guys. So, listen, defense is a massive part, but I think you guys should learn from that PSG game that it's not all about defense and physicality. So look, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Listen, Romero didn't bottle the World Cup like Saliba did. So it is what it is. Saliba was in that World Cup final and didn't win. So it is what it is.
I didn't really play.
I know, but listen, Romero's a World Cup winner. World Cup winner, and he starts for the world champions. So listen, that's all I need to say. That's all I need to say. But
until Algeria win the first game,
and then Argentina probably go all the way again. But it is what it is. But look, I mean, we should have scored. I mean, their keeper did make some good saves. We should have. I mean, look, first half I didn't think was amazing. Like I thought we were okay. Like we obviously got the goal to put the own goal. Like it's a great finish from their defender. But listen, we allowed a couple of shots from range, which I think has been an issue for us. Like we keep failing to close down players on the edge of the box, and it's a massive problem because we've conceded too many goals in that fashion. And I don't know why our players, whoever it is, just have an inability to just close players down on the edge of the box. And obviously, they had a couple of shots. I mean, they weren't really that dangerous. I mean, Vicario just made some sort of saves that he should have made. But listen, 1-0 up. Listen, Angus, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about. Listen, your defenders might be great, but when the pressure's on, they bottle it, and that's been proven until this point. That's been proven up until now. That's all I need to say. But yeah, obviously 1-0 up. Probably deserved to be 1-0 up. I think probably was a fair scoreline at halftime. Second half, I thought we were better. We were much better than the first half. Second half, I think we went up a gear. Obviously, got the 2 penalties. Both were stonewall penalties that nobody can argue. Both were penalties. I mean, first one on Porro, I mean, that was such a clumsy challenge from their player. Obviously, Kudus. Listen, I was happy that Kudus took it off Richarlison because I did not want to see Richarlison take that penalty. So I was happy that Kudus took it off him and scored. Obviously, sent the keeper the wrong way, went straight down the middle. And I think Kudus deserved his goal. Kudus looked really good in this game. He was again our biggest threat going forward. Listen, Angus, you can't call us bottle jobs anymore. It's done. The joke's dead now. You can't call us bottle jobs. You're the bottle jobs. You are the biggest officially. This isn't my opinion. This is a fact. You are the biggest bottle jobs in Premier League history. You had a 9-point lead over Man City in 2023. And look what happened. Also, there's been no team that has spent more time at the top of the Premier League than Arsenal in that season that has not gone on to win the title. And that is you guys. By fact, you are the biggest bottle jobs in Premier League history. And that is a fact. Go and look it up if you don't believe me. But anyway, so I'm not hearing this. I'm not hearing this. But like I said, second half we were better. You can't. It's done. It's done. You can't. You and all the others were constantly telling me, "Oh, until you win something." Then look, we won something, and look, it is what it is. We've won more than you in the last 5 years. So, look, pipe down. Who cares? Did you get a trophy for finishing second? No. So, anyway, look,
more money.
Yeah, what I was saying was the second half we were better. Obviously, the second penalty was again another stonewall one. I think Xavi would have scored if he wasn't taken down. That penalty, it wasn't a good penalty, if I'm honest. Keeper got a big hand to it, but obviously it snuck in, and it went. Listen, I'm not saying champions of Europe. Look, I'm not sitting here on every stream saying champions of Europe. I'm not saying that. And listen, we who cares? We by definition we had a better season than you guys last year. 1 trophy against 0 trophies. It is what it is. But yeah, I didn't say we were. That's the thing. I didn't say we were. That's the funny.
I mean, Chelsea are world champions.
Technically, yeah, technically. But yeah. Look, overall, it was comfortable in the end. I didn't think we were as good as we were against Brentford, but I still think we did enough to win. 3-0, look, we didn't score from open play, which obviously isn't great. And it's another sort of problem with this attack just not being good enough and that sort of thing. But to be fair though, if I am giving us credit, we did create chances. I mean, we should have scored a few of them from open play. Their keeper did make some good saves. You had that double save in the second half from Tell and then Sarr, which was, to be fair, yeah, look, big up to THFC Max. Exactly. This is what I'm saying. Exactly. Big up every single time. But yeah, look, comfortable win. Like I expected. Slavia, look, despite our poor form, I did say we would beat Slavia even before the Brentford game. So look, I mean, they had a few chances. I mean, they probably had a couple more than I would have hoped we would give them. But look, they weren't great. They weren't great going forward whatsoever. So overall, a comfortable win. Look, we should have scored more goals from open play, but listen, 2 penalties and an own goal. It is what it is, and that own goal was our 100th goal in the Champions League.
Oh,
That own goal was goal number 100 for us in the Champions League. So there you go. Overall, a comfortable win, and we'll see what happens come January in the last 2 games, of course. So yeah, and look, in terms of just as well, man of the match, Xavi, I think, was the best player on the pitch. Listen, the fact you can say this as an Arsenal fan just says everything. You got AFTV exists. That's all I'm going to say. But yeah. Yeah, look, big up to Tim. Yeah, big up to you. Yeah, exactly. This is what I'm saying. It's exactly. Big up. But look, we'll see what happens in the last 2 games. Obviously, look, there's no point in talking about them because they're not till the end of January. But look, we had to win this game. It's as simple as that. We had to win this game, and we did. Like I said, for us to have a chance of finishing in the top 8, there's no more room for error. We have to win the last 3 games. So that's 1 out of 3. Obviously, the next 2 will be a lot tougher, especially against Dortmund. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see. But yeah, comfortable win. Xavi, man of the match for me. I thought he, was the best player on the pitch in this game. He, was creating a lot. He did some really good runs. So hopefully, like I said with Xavi, he's turned a corner. Hopefully, this is sort of him arriving, if you like to say, at Spurs. Because, yeah, like I said, his last 2 performances have been probably, definitely his 2 best performances for Spurs. So let's see. Like I said at the start of the show, I'm still a bit skeptical. Have we turned the corner? I don't know. We'll have to see what we go and do over the next couple of games, and I'll be able to make more of a judgment after that. But look, 2 wins in a row. It's with the form we've been on, I didn't think we would do that if I'm being honest. So let's see. Let's see what happens now. I'm not getting carried away at all. But look, we got the job done in both these last couple of games. So let's see. But yeah, with Slavia, comfortable win, like we should be doing against this type of opposition. So yeah. Own goal, saving us again.
I think, I'm not sure, is own goal your top goal scorer?
It's our second top goal scorer in the Champions League. Because we've had a couple. We've had like three own goals.
Bodo, and this one.
Exactly. Yeah.
So who knows? Maybe own goal might actually win the best player of Europe or the top goal scorer.
Probably now.
Yeah, I mean, from the game, just from the things I saw, it seemed like it was just pretty easy for Spurs. I'll be honest. I think overall it wasn't. I did predict. I think 0-0. So we were helped by an own goal. And I did say Slavia don't score, but I also said you don't score as well. But I think overall the performance was, you can say professional. You can say in the end.
I mean, I don't think we were great. I mean, second half I thought we were good. We were better than the first half. But yeah, professional is probably the best way to describe
just
it.
Get the win and move on. Carry on. I forgot how Arsenal usually tweeted out. On to the next one, guys. Or whatever.
Although, no, it was a Champions League journey to be proud of.
Yeah, so it's a Champions League win to be proud of for Spurs. Beating the Czech champions. A team that also won a trophy. Oh wait, I'm not sure. Is Arsenal one of the only teams this season that didn't win last season a trophy? Because Slavia Prague have won something.
Slavia Prague, I think they are the best team. They're the best Czech
champions.
team. I mean, I know they're Sparta Prague as well, but I think Slavia are the best.
Yeah, but Yeah, overall, I think it was just, as I said, a
Hmm.
professional performance for Spurs and just getting the job done. Even though at the moment it's not enough for the top 8, but it at least puts you in a position whereby you could finish top 8 if results go your way. But it will be a big ask because there's 10 teams at least above you, and it really depends on how teams do above you and even below you, us, but and Chelsea. But
Yeah, they're below us as well.
yeah, and they lost to Atalanta, which is embarrassing, I would say, especially this Atalanta team. But yeah, overall, just a really good performance in the for Spurs, and yeah, we'll see how it goes in the next phase. 32 goals scored. Really? I thought it was like 17 goals scored.
It's not
No,
32 goals.
I'm pretty
It's
sure it's
not.
17.
It's
But I
not
know I know the
32.
other, like you'll score like 8 or something against Kaiser.
Listen, Man United were unbeaten in Europe last season, and look what happened.
Yeah. But yeah, overall, really good performance.
He's so rattled. It's so funny. Look, I like Angus, but you're so rattled. You're so rattled. I can
Oh,
just see
God.
you're fearful. I know what you're fearful of what's going to happen. You're bottling it again. I can just
Yeah.
you're so rattled.
I mean, to be fair, I do think Arsenal finished first in the Champions League standings because you
Well,
have to.
so did Liverpool, and look what happened last
Yeah,
season.
and look what Liverpool are now this year.
Yeah.
Hmm. But that does mean Arsenal win the title, the Prem. But yeah, overall, as I said, professional performance, and we'll see how Spurs do. In terms of the final 2 games for Spurs, it's Dortmund at home and Frankfurt away.
Yeah.
Which you said you have good records against. So
We have a good record against both, but they're both tough, especially Dortmund. I mean, I know they just drew at home to Bodo Glimt, but Dortmund. Look, on their day, they're the type of team they can beat anyone on their day.
yeah, or not beat anyone like Bodo. But
Yeah.
do you think from those 2 games you'll get top 8?
Honestly, it's hard to say because what I would say is, see, this is just wrong. PSG aren't even the team you should worry the most about. I can tell you that. Um, I don't know. It's hard to say because on one hand, I'm like, if we get 6 points, which again is a big if. Like I don't know if that's going to happen, but if we get 6 points, I'm not sure if it even guarantees we'll get in the top 8 because obviously we'll see what other teams do. I think kind of what I looked at, I think we'll have to hope that if we get 6 points, I think at least one of Liverpool or Atletico will have to drop points in one of their games. That's kind of what I looked at, and maybe Inter potentially as well. I'm not too sure, but yeah, like that's kind of what I looked at. So I think the way I see it is, look, if we get 6 points, I think it's like an 80% chance because I mean 17 point. I mean last year it was
16.
16 points was enough. So I'm hoping that, look, if we end up with 17 points, then that should be okay. But again, it's not even guaranteed. I think we'll have to see what happens with other results. But look, with how close the table is, there's lots of things that can happen. That there's going to be, look, no doubt. I think from over the next 2 games, there's going to be a lot of twists and turns. I'm pretty sure. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, for us to, I think we've pretty much secured a playoff spot. I think obviously not mathematically, but I think one win from the last 2 will secure that. But then teams below us are all playing each other as well, so it's like, I think we're pretty for the playoffs. Look, not to jinx it, but we're pretty much there. I think
Yeah.
to at least get that. But I'll be honest, with the state of our squad, we don't want 2 extra games. I think that we need to be finishing in that top 8. Just I'm not just to get to obviously to get to the last 16, but also to just avoid those 2 extra games because I think we're already kind of struggling as it is with the amount of games, with the injuries and the current squad we have. So I think that, look, we get into the playoffs, that we'll see who we get. It is what it is. Obviously, it'll be very annoying with 2 extra games, but obviously, I'd rather be in the playoffs than be out of the competition entirely, for sure. But yeah, we need to get that top 8. I'm going to say that we really do. And like I said, 6 points should be enough, but then not guaranteed. But if we drop points in either of the last 2 games, then it's done. I think that then
Yeah.
then it will definitely be playoffs. So we'll have to see. But let's just see. Let's just see. Let's just see.
Yeah. And moving
Listen,
on.
Angus, Gray. I mean, I'm not saying Gray's generational. I think Gray is a little bit overhyped by our fans. But
Yeah.
listen, this just proves you didn't watch the game because he was actually one of our better players. So this just proves you didn't watch the game.
But yeah, the other game which actually happened last night was Bayer Leverkusen 2, and it shouldn't really be 2, but 2, Newcastle 2. First half was just as bad as any other half we've had. Um, we scored an own goal. So this time we're talking about own goal again, being a goal scorer. And the goal scorer of the own goal was the butt of Bruno Guimaraes. When he was not looking, from guess what? I set piece from a corner, which we got, what do you call this, like issue. Obviously, it didn't mean much against Burnley, but you saw Burnley had that against us. Leverkusen took advantage. Andrik with the goal for, well, the assist for the own goal for Leverkusen, and we were behind. Okay, we started the game all right, but not like amazing. And after they scored throughout that first half, we were not good. And to be honest, they could have had, okay, not a penalty, but Chow could have been sent off.
He was lucky. He was very lucky because I thought it was the last man. From what I saw on the replay, it looked like he took him. It looked like it was denying the goal scoring opportunity.
I think it was only because Livramento was there to cover and Ramsdale was already like coming towards the ball, whatever. Thankfully, it was outside the box, so it kind of helped. That it wasn't a penalty. Better it be a free kick than a penalty. And even better, we didn't have a player sent off, So, yeah, I think we got a bit lucky there. And it wasn't the only luck we had in the game. But that first half, it's just like any other half. And as in like bad halves we had, there's been many of them. But that second half, I would say, is we came out a lot more threatening, a lot more like eager to win the ball back, and we actually got we got our first goal via penalty. And how? If anyone remember, well, we talked about Brentford, but former Brentford.
Flecken, that was so bad, man. That was like awful. That was awful.
Baltimore closed them down from literally just I sometimes I don't like goalkeepers doing this sort of like, oh, I'm going to do these tricks with the ball, like 6 yards from my own goal, and then like obviously he didn't concede from it, but Baltimore closed them down and brought him down. And I'll be honest, we had our luck with Chow not being sent off, and now obviously we had our luck getting that penalty. So sometimes you have to create your own luck. And, from it, Anthony Gordon, and I'm pretty sure that's his 5th goal in 6 Champions League games, 5 goals, I think. So he's one of the top goal scorers in the Champions League, along with Harvey Barnes, even though Barnes didn't score. But Gordon scored another penalty. I think he scored every single penalty.
This is like he's got 3 penalties in 3 games in a row. Like,
I think so, right? Yeah.
And the one against Spurs was never a penalty, ever.
But yeah, I think, and actually Gordon was pretty good in this game, but he only really turns up in Champions League nights, really. But yeah, at 1-1, we continue to have the pressure. Gordon put in a cross, which Miley could have headed in, but it wasn't meant to be until 5 or so minutes later, where he did it again. And Lewis Miley becomes the youngest ever Newcastle United Champions League goal scorer. If you were to ask me who is Sunderland's youngest goal scorer, I would say it would be Adam John. No.
Oh,
not that far.
No.
Even then, he hasn't
I
don't think he's ever played. Maybe with Man City, I'm not sure. But
see, look, this is what I'm saying. You're riled up for the derby. I can tell. You're like,
I mean, until they actually, what do you call this? Yeah, 6 points is definitely enough
It
for
should be. I mean,
for
but we'll
Spurs.
see.
Yeah. Um, but
No, I'm
yeah,
not saying Gray's great. I'm just saying that he had a decent game against
yeah. I mean,
Slavia.
Gordon does what do you call this? Turn up on Champions League nights. Nah, he's not. He didn't dive. He
Yeah,
didn't
big
dive.
up to Catalan as well.
But
What do
yeah,
you think? Do you think? I don't think he dived either. To be, if I'm
no,
honest.
no, because like it's Flecken's fault
Yeah, it was
for
just
doing that.
terrible from the
Oh
goalkeeper.
God, I'll talk about it. But you were Lewis Miley scoring his first ever Champions League goal, the
Yeah,
youngest goal scorer, and yes, Gordon is a
yeah,
penalty
facts.
merchant. And we are actually, I
You
believe,
are becoming pen merchants. Don't even lie. You are
yeah,
becoming
last
pen
weekend.
merchants.
But to be fair, he did score 2 penalties against Slavia.
We
But
did, but look, we haven't had a penalty given to us in the Premier League this season.
oh
Yeah,
damn,
so
yeah, probably against Forest. But yeah, we made it 2-1, and we hit the post twice, I believe. After that as well,
yeah. Gordon and who's the other one?
Murphy,
Murphy. Yeah, you should have.
and
Well,
then
you should have killed the game with
and
those
then,
chances.
just as Catalan said,
Grimaldo.
in the
Yeah,
88th minute. Now
dagger.
it's not that we drop points because everyone says Leverkusen is a good team, and I think they are. They're not as good as like
I
the
mean, they
Lions.
haven't been. They've been. I mean, they don't have Ten Hag anymore. To be fair, so they're probably a bit
I
better.
think if it was 10, we win.
Yeah,
But
I think if it's Ten Hag anyway, and everybody wins against
the only
Leverkusen.
thing is, it wasn't the Leverkusen head coach wasn't even there. Kasper Heumann, because
Yeah,
he wasn't there because of personal issues. So his assistant tactically outclassed Eddie Howe.
I mean, just from what I saw from that game, like you guys,
We
I
should have
mean,
won
you should have won.
by
I
the
mean,
end.
I know you went 1-0 down and everything with what happened, but I think that yeah, THFC Max, yeah, please. I'm taking it. I'm taking it all day.
No, because I think some Liverpool fans saying they're getting Voldemort.
Oh yeah. Big up to
But
Reacts every single
every
time.
single time Liverpool always gets Newcastle striker, just like Andy Carroll. Just saying.
Well, yeah, I think like I was saying with I think obviously you went 2-1 up after turning it around. Obviously that Leverkusen did have a couple of chances. I mean Ramsdale made a couple of saves, but you should have killed the game off. It's as simple
Yeah.
as that. I mean, you hit the post twice, Gordon and Murphy. You had another one towards the end as well where I think Flecken made a save. I think it was from
Chow.
Chow. Yeah, I think it was Chow. So you should have won that game 3-1. It should have
Which I
been
actually predicted.
yeah, I think I predicted that as well. So it should have been a win, but it's just the classic saying of like when you fail to manage the game, when you don't take your chances, you're gonna get punished, and that's what happened because Grimaldo, look, he's a left wing back, but he's a big goal threat. I mean, his numbers the last couple of years have been insane for a wing back. So it's not a surprise to see him pop up with a goal like that. Obviously, it was towards the right hand side, which obviously he's a left back. But yeah, frustrating for Newcastle. A game you should have won. Points that could potentially be costly in your hunt for the top 8, especially with PSG being one of your last 2 games. So
Never lost to them.
true, but I mean,
if we draw against them, it doesn't really matter as well.
yeah, but we'll see this time. But yeah, look, it was honestly just from what I saw, very frustrating. It's one of those games where you're just kicking yourself and you're like, how did we not take 3 points with some of the chances we had? But ultimately, you should be seeing, even at 2-1, you should be doing a better job at seeing it out. You could have held on and won that 2-1 if because the defending was awful for their equaliser. Like the way Grimaldo just kind of got through and had a clear strike at goal in the box was horrible. Like you guys just defended it horribly, and I think what Newcastle lacked was obviously the finishing in front of goal, but also I mean, we'll see what happens. Maybe I don't know. We'll see. Maybe we'll probably have Dragerson as an option then as well. So we'll see. But it's with Newcastle. Not only did you fail to take your chances, but you just failed to manage the game. You were just very sloppy. You were given Leverkusen obviously more encouragement. You started to sit back a little bit as well. So I think it's just overall. Like, I know you were very annoyed last night, so
Yeah.
I can
One thing I
understand
wasn't
your based on what I saw. I
It
can
was.
understand.
It wasn't because we dropped points to Leverkusen, but it's because I have to count how many games we concede near. Well,
I
let's
mean,
say in the last five
Romero
minutes.
did it in the 95th
Romero,
minute.
this one Leverkusen. I know it didn't matter much, but Burnley scored against us near the end. Liverpool, Arsenal. Actually, both of Arsenal's goals. Pretty sure there's more.
Brentford,
Probably one or two more as well. But Brighton,
Brighton, yeah.
Brentford,
You guys, that's
um,
been your issue. You've been conceding a lot of late goals this season.
and we only really scored like one or two late goals, somewhat. But like that's the annoying thing. I'm like, how many times are we going to? Oh, this one I agree with. And actually, Grimaldo has more Champions League goals this season than that
Yeah.
guy. And he was terrible against Inter, even though Liverpool won. But I'm like, how many times are we? I counted 8, maybe 9, 10 goals that were scored like 18 minutes after.
There's a lot.
Basically,
Yeah.
that's like
You guys aren't concentrating enough. You're not managing the game well enough late
yeah.
on.
Unless we're like winning, like like we did against Everton or Union Saint Gilloise, which are the only 2 away games I believe that we won away. But I don't really count USG as an away game. So this
Yeah.
was, against Leverkusen was the opportunity to finally get a really good away win, and we didn't. Just like against Marseille. And Marseille, we were leading and gave it away.
Marseille, you should have at least got a draw from, I think.
Yeah. But, Nick Pope. But
Hmm.
not the meme of Nick Pope, but yeah, I think overall it's just about like how many times are we going to concede? Are we going to do this against Sunderland? I might as well say Sunderland will score a last minute goal or something like that, either to equalize or win the game, because like it's happened almost every week, if not every other game. So it's like how much like am I going to expect like what I should do when it hits the 80th minute? I don't watch the game. I turn the game off, so that because I know it's probably
You know what's
more
coming.
likely, like most of the time it'll probably be the other team that scores. So like as I said, how many times are we going to concede late goals? No.
Hey, listen, we'll come to that in a bit because I'm
Yeah,
looking forward to talking about that.
yeah.
But
But
I just
this game,
it's
yeah,
very frustrating for you guys, if I'm honest. Like,
yeah, because I
you
thought
should have won the
I
game.
think we should have won. And I actually predicted way before the season started or when we got the fixtures. I said we could beat Leverkusen. We almost did, but of course, you know what we usually do.
Lapse in concentration. I mean, who would you blame for their equaliser? I mean, because I think it was just bad defending collectively. But is there any like individual player you'd sort of put the blame on for that goal?
I just think it's probably everyone, but you could say Eddie. I'm like,
Yeah, Eddie Howe. Yeah, what's your? We have to come to Eddie Howe.
oh,
You messaged me last night saying that you're this close to being Eddie Howe out.
I
Again,
mean, we'll see on
again.
Sunday. We'll see on Sunday, but um, but this is becoming a bit of a recurring thing. And then in the press conference after the game, timing is irrelevant.
Is that what he said?
Yeah,
Oh
because
God, yeah.
we can see last or near the end. I'm like, so has it been irrelevant against Liverpool,
So,
against Arsenal,
so for
against
you,
Spurs,
if
and
Eddie
all?
Howe, obviously we'll come to the derby in a bit, but if Eddie Howe loses the derby, are you Eddie Howe out? Like,
Yeah,
is that what?
yeah,
That what?
yeah,
If I'm honest, I wouldn't. From what I've seen from Newcastle, I wouldn't totally blame you if I'm honest.
yeah.
I wouldn't blame you for being Eddie Howe out. I mean, last time I thought you were a bit harsh, kind of last season, because then obviously you ended up winning the cup and you were sort of proved wrong. But I think this season, if I'm honest, I think there's a lot more. From what I've seen from Newcastle and Eddie Howe, there's a lot more. What's it called? There's a lot more like validity to saying Eddie Howe out. I think, especially if he loses the derby. I mean, you can't be doing that. I mean, you're
Especially
already.
if it's like near the end of the game, we concede. To be honest, if it ends in a draw on that game, and it's because we concede last minute or near the end, same thing. power out. But yeah, from this game against Leverkusen, yeah, we should have gotten the result. But yeah, in terms of the Champions League table, just like in the Premier League, Spurs are
11th and
11th
12th.
and we're 12th. Even though we're not on the same points, but we're practically the same at the moment. But I'll be honest, our final two games, PSV at home, PSG. So we're playing PS, but V and G. PS, Paris Saint-Germain away and Eindhoven at home. There, to make it easier for everyone. Not PS, we have PSV and PSG.
Yeah.
So maybe people will get confused. So we play Eindhoven at home and then Paris Saint-Germain away. There, easier for everyone. Do I think we get top 8? I think had we
You had to win this Leverkusen game.
Had we won, we would have been above Inter. We would have been 6th.
Exactly. That's why it's frustrating, because if you win that game, you're in the top 8 with 2 games to go.
Yeah. And the funny thing is that we're both above Chelsea and Barcelona. That's the funny thing.
We are, yeah. And Juve, I know they beat Paphos, but yeah, like not great.
I mean, everyone beats Paphos except Villarreal. But yeah, I think overall, just very frustrating. Yeah, I mean,
it should be. I mean, at home you've been good. Whatever problems Newcastle are having at home, you're still very good at home generally. So
yeah, but I mean, I know but you saw what PSV did against Liverpool. I hope we're not as bad as them. I hope, but we'll see. And PSV, they, to be honest, probably should have beaten Atleti from what I saw. But yeah, match day 8 and even 7 will be crazy. But yeah,
I think that the thing with the Champions League, I mean, you look at Spurs and Newcastle. I mean, for us, we're on 11 points. I mean, we're only like a point from 6th, so it's like anything can happen basically. Like that's why I say if we get 6 points and get 17 points, it should be enough for top 8. But obviously not certain, just depending on how other results go. But yeah, the way I see it is mostly because of how tight it is with 2 games to go. If we drop points, it's done. It's done.
Because also Barcelona's final 2 games, Catalan knows it's who you call this? Slavia away and who's the other one? Copenhagen at home. I mean, come on. That's like a layup. Yeah. That's a layup for 6 points. So you expect Barcelona to have 16 points. So basically, and I believe from Atalanta up, I think gets top 8. Because Atalanta have Union Saint-Gilloise.
To be fair, Atalanta, they've surprised a lot of people in the Champions League, because obviously, look, for someone that watches Serie A, Atalanta have not been good. They've not been. They're
like 12 or something.
They just lost to Hellas Verona. They have not been good this season. But in the Champions League, they're getting it done. They beat Chelsea. Marseille away. They beat Chelsea. In the Champions League, they are surprising a lot of people. Fair play to them.
Yeah, I mean, when they were very good, they got eliminated by Club Brugge in the playoffs.
They did, yeah. When they were Europa League champions, like we are now. When they still had Gasperini, they lost to Club Brugge. Now,
but now,
they got Palladino now. Palladino, he's obviously a much better manager than Juric. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. I bet if Juric was the manager against Chelsea, they'd lose.
I mean, that's the question. What phase is Palladino in? I mean, look.
But yeah, in terms of the Champions League, I'll be honest, I will say both us and Spurs do not get top 8, but we will finish in the seeded places.
Yeah. I mean, that has to be like the bare minimum. Like, if you're going to be in the playoffs, you got to be in the
You would like to have the home game, second leg in the playoff, even though the round of 16 should one or both of us make it, will be away the second leg in the round of 16. And if Spurs were to finish in, I believe it will be, no, it can't be 9th. Actually, I don't know. But yeah, I think overall, I don't see both of us getting in the top 8.
But do you think we win our last 2 games, or do you think we drop in one of them?
I think you drop it against the team above you, Dortmund. I think Frankfurt are gone.
Frankfurt, I think, yeah. But you reckon that if if we win our last 2 games, you think that will be enough for the top 8? You think?
I think if
We
win
win our
both,
last 2 games,
yeah, I think I have to see everyone else's schedule. I just know I feel like top 5 and above. I say top 8. I expect Barcelona because they have like the 2 easiest fixtures to win 6 points, so they'll be on 16. So if Spurs drop points in one, Barcelona finishes above. Liverpool have Karabag at home, who lost to Ajax. They lost to Ajax.
Ajax, who I mean, that's their first points, I think. Yeah,
the first win. And
which,
look,
by the way, isn't it a mystery how bad Villarreal are in the Champions League?
I mean,
because they've been good. They've been good in La Liga this season.
They're doing the Antonio Conte excuse.
Oh man, don't you? Oh yeah, look. I mean,
and yeah,
this is look. I love Conte, but unfortunately, Conte in Europe is this is what it is. Sadly, but I agree with you. I think that if we drop points in either of the last 2 games, then it's gone. But I think if we get 6 points, then it's possible. Just like I think if you guys get 6 points, then it's possible.
Maybe because.
But you're playing PSG, which is obviously a big problem away.
But who knows? Maybe by then PSG already secured top 8. But obviously PSG would like to be higher up in the table or something like that. So we'll see. But yeah, it just depends on the final 2 games.
I mean, Madrid against City was good yesterday.
And I think Madrid probably should have gotten something. But yeah,
I don't think Madrid were good yesterday, if I'm honest.
And once again, Rodrigo scored against City.
Yeah.
Every single time. So, yeah, I think overall it just depends on how everyone else does in the final 2 games. Though I would say I did predict us to get into the playoffs, and I think I said like 15th place or something like that. But I'll say at least be seeded for the playoff. Obviously, I would like the playoffs. I mean, I would like the top 8, but that wasn't my expectation.
For me, we have to get in the top 8 because I just don't think we can afford the extra 2 games. I just don't think our squad's good enough.
I'm not sure. Who do you have? Because the playoff is the week after each other. Like
I can't remember.
Then there's a Premier League game in the middle.
But regardless, I don't think we can handle 2 extra games.
Actually, I believe it might actually be Arsenal. I think. When do you play Arsenal?
It could we play Arsenal at end of February.
I think that might actually be.
It could be, yeah. It could be.
Like Champions League, Arsenal, Champions League.
It could be, yeah.
Because we have.
That's what I'm saying. Like we can't afford it, man. Like we need to be in that top 8. We can't have these 2 extra games. Like,
and then you have Arsenal in the middle, basically.
Yeah.
I know we have Manchester City in the middle of those 2, if we're in the playoff, which I think we will be. So, yeah, I think.
It's just not great, is it? Like top 8, it just kind of makes if you get in the top 8, it just makes your life so much easier instead of having to go through a playoff to get to the last 16
or Liverpool of last season. But who knows? But yeah, that's basically.
Listen, you know what's really funny? I'll tell you something funny. Look, this table is going to change a lot, but as it stands right now, Arsenal, who are top, who have won every game that everyone's gassing up, are probably going to play Barcelona as it stands.
Oh yeah. But to be fair, I mean Barcelona defensively are.
I know, but it's Barcelona still. You know what I mean? And they still got Lamine Yamal.
I'm pretty sure Barcelona owns Arsenal.
They do, exactly. This is my point. Yeah.
Messi and all that.
And also, it's like when you finish top of it, Barcelona aren't the level of team you'd expect to play.
Yeah. So. And I mean, finishing 15th last season won you a Champions League.
Exactly. So it just proved the way I see the Champions League, and I kind of learnt this from last season, is that the real tournament starts in like the knockout stages.
Yeah,
that's the real. For me, this is very like even more separate than what the group stage.
Yeah,
this is like the qualifying.
This is like NBA basically. If you follow NBA or whatever,
it's like American sports
season, and you just have to be seeded.
This is with the new format for Champions League, Europa League. This is like the regular season in like American sports. Basically.
Yeah, and the playoffs is usually my team, Miami Heat, usually turn up in the playoffs. So
Miami Heat, yeah.
LeBron James back in the day, but yeah, I don't think we'll be like the LeBron James and Miami Heat. But I would love to see Newcastle do that. Well, to do. But yeah, that's basically the Champions League. But yeah, there'll be obviously a lot more
Yeah, look, I mean, both games
Question
aren't till
happened. Yeah.
both games. The last two games aren't till the end of January, so
Yeah.
it's a
Who do
big.
you
It's
have
a
in the middle of those two champions? We have Aston Villa at home in the middle of
good question.
Eindhoven, Aston Villa at home, which we always win, and then PSG away. And guess who
We
we have
have.
after PSG?
Oh,
Liverpool.
we've got Burnley. We've got Burnley away
Okay.
in
I
between
mean,
them.
surely you should win the
Yeah.
one, at least in the middle. So, yeah. But we'll see how it goes. But yeah, we might as well talk about the Premier League preview. But
Yeah.
before we get to the
Uh,
derby, we'll first talk about Forest against Spurs because it happens at the same time. So we'll go with the easier game sort of first. So Forest, Tottenham. The only sad thing about this fixture, why did he have to be
I
sacked?
know. I wish we were playing Ange because I think we'd have a better chance of winning if we played Ange.
Yeah, because you saw what Sean Dyche did against Liverpool.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Nottingham Forest away. This is interesting because they're not doing well right now. They just lost 3-0 against Everton. Like and they've got a Europa League game tonight. So they're kind of obviously we know one of Forest's biggest problems this season has been managing 2 games a week, which they haven't had to deal with last season and stuff. So yeah, I think this is interesting because I think again this is another test for us. You know, this is another game where we have to prove. You know, have we turned the corner? Are we actually getting better, or were the last 2 games a flash in the pan? Because again, it's another one of these games against a team. Now, I know it's away this time, so look, maybe we've been overall on a whole we've been better away from home this season. So I think this could potentially play in our favour. But at the same time, it is Sean Dyche, and Sean Dyche is a manager that, you know, at home we do very well against. I mean, we've beaten him 4-0 twice. We've beaten him 5-0 at home.
Um,
But away from home, you know, we have struggled against Burnley back in the day. We had a few bad results, you know, struggling to break them down. And now Nottingham Forest, with Dyche, this could be a problem for us because Dyche is going to play the most stinky football we've ever seen. And we know Dyche plays stinky football. And that could be a problem for us because we know with Spurs, we don't know how to break teams down consistently anyway. We don't know how to open up teams that play haram ball, as they say, that sit back and stink it out. And this worries me. If I'm honest, this does worry me about this game, that they're going to sit back and maybe they'll get a set piece or something that sort of nicks it. I don't know. I don't know. But at the same time, you know, we've picked up a little bit of form. I'm not going to go on and say yeah we're back or anything, but we've picked up a little bit of form the last couple of games. We're looking better than what I mean. It's not hard to look better, but we're looking a little bit better. You know, obviously picking up 2 wins. You know, in the last 2 games, 2 clean sheets as well. So you know, we definitely come into this game with more encouragement than what we did before. Yeah, look, we'll see what happens. But
I'm not scared, basically.
yeah, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, it will be an interesting game. Again, I think we should be going into this winning this game because Forest are struggling. Yeah, I agree. THFC Max, you're right. It is kind of haram against haram, but listen, Deitch is like. I mean, we can say it about Frank as much as we want, but
This used to be
Deitch
a
is.
Burnley versus Brentford fixture.
Yeah, I mean, back in the day, it would
Spurs.
have been with these. But it kind of is. I do agree. It kind of is with obviously with what we've seen from Frank this season, which is why I worry we could struggle because when we've played against teams that also do it or do it even more than what we do, you know, we struggle badly. I mean, it's why we couldn't beat Wolves this season. So I don't know how this is going to go. This could go either way if I'm honest. Like I think on one side I can see us struggling to break them down, you know, not being able to get in behind and then it being 0-0 for ages and then maybe nicking it on the break or something. I can see that happening. But at the same time, I think if we get an early goal, if we score first, I think we go on to win the game. So it's kind of I think it's going to be I think it's one of those games where I think one goal could decide it, if I'm honest. I think whoever gets the first goal in this game probably goes on to win it because we haven't, and this is still a problem for us, we haven't won one game from a losing position this season. The most we've got is a draw. Whenever we've gone behind, we failed to win every time this season. And that's obviously been one of my criticisms of Frank this year. So I think first goal wins it. I think it's one of those games where I think whoever gets the first goal, I think wins it. So in terms of prediction, I mean, look, it's a game we must win. I mean, with Liverpool coming up, I know Liverpool aren't great, but we don't have a good record against Liverpool. So I think it's another game that we have to win, that we should be winning if we want to kind of get higher up in the table and everything. To kind of if we want to have like a revival, as they say, if we want to make this into like a proper revival, then we have to start winning games consistently. And that is how we're going to know if we've turned the corner or not. We're going to see if we can get a result against Forest. That's obviously another step in that direction. And then if we can get a result against Liverpool, then we can start to say, we've turned the corner. But right now, I don't think it's right to say we have turned the corner. We have to see it play out. So I don't know. This, like I said, this I think is 1-0 either way. I think this is going to be 1-0 either way. And if I'm being optimistic, kind of just based on the last two games, I'll say 1-0 Spurs for my prediction. I think we nick it 1-0. It's going to be a stinky game, I can tell you that. For any neutral, I do not recommend watching this game. It's going to be an absolute stink fest. But I think with Xavi coming in, I think with Xavi coming into form, with us off the back of 2 wins, I think I'll back us just to edge it. I'll go 1-0 Spurs.
I think
we'll see. Like I said, this could go either way. If I'm honest.
think this is a game that Xavi Simons, if he plays, he has to perform as well.
Yeah.
Because I think it's good to have 2 back-to-back performances, but how about 3 in a row, 4 in a row, 5 in a row? That I feel like, especially like being, I'm pretty sure Xavi Simons is the more key signing. For Spurs.
The summer. Yeah,
so he has to be consistent. So if he plays or starts from the bench and comes on, then have to see. But in terms of this game, I know last season it ended 2-1, both games for both games, I believe. Yeah. So who knows, maybe 3 in a row or something like that. But I know Forest have a decent record against Spurs.
Not really. Not really.
No.
I mean, before last season, we had beaten them 4 times in a row before last season. So it's just last season.
I know they beat you in the FA Cup once or Carabao Cup once.
Carabao, yeah, they did actually, yeah.
At the stadium. So I feel like it's going to be a tough game for Spurs. Probably a tough watch, and probably because most people will watch a game we'll talk about very soon. Most likely. But in terms of this game, I do think it will be Haram against Haram. Maybe, this could be a game whereby both teams try to set each other to not concede any chances. So I will probably, in terms of action, I'll go 2-0 Spurs. But am I confident? Not really. But big up to I want to drink from my wide eye to 3-5 from your
eye. So you reckon 2-0 Spurs? Yeah, like I said, I think whoever gets the first goal wins. I think
I think Xavi Simons does something good in this game.
I think it's very important for us to get the first goal. Very important. And I think if we do, I think we go on to win the game. So
that's what I feel with this game. But if Forest were to score, I could still see it being a draw as well. I think
potentially, but I just, like I said, I think just based on the way Deitch plays and the way Frank plays sometimes, I think the first goal is very important. Just based on the way they play. Like THFC Max said, like Haram v Haram. So
Wide Eye Ocean. Okay. But I guess you all have been waiting for this.
Here
preview.
We go. I've been waiting for this.
Well, I mean, we did play them in the FA Cup, but I guess I'll let you go first and what your thoughts are on the game without giving a prediction, and then I have my piece on them, but I'll let you start how you feel about this game.
Well, listen.
Sunderland against Newcastle, I mean.
Sunderland against Newcastle. Look, I've been waiting for this. I can't believe they scheduled the game all the way in December. Like they maybe should have done it earlier in the season. We've had to wait for a while, but It's finally here. Sunderland v Newcastle. Of course, one of the fiercest derbies in English football that hasn't been played in the league for 8 years. Obviously, the FA Cup game happened where Sunderland were in the Championship. Newcastle won comfortably. But Sunderland are a different Sunderland now. As much as Ten hates to hear that, Sunderland are now back in the Premier League after 8 years. Obviously, Sunderland went through a lot of issues going down to League One and everything, which I'm sure Ten wishes
The fact that they
was
did it back-to-back relegations was funny.
back-to-back relegations. Yeah, so they've been through a lot, but they've found themselves back in the Premier League. They've had a really good start to this season. Obviously, they're sitting ninth, albeit, they have kind of dropped off, I think, in the last few weeks. They've got 1 win in their last 5. So, albeit they have had some tough games, the likes of Man City. Liverpool, you could technically say is still a tough game for them. But, this will be very interesting. Obviously, Newcastle sitting below Sunderland, which I don't think anybody expected at any point during this season. And Sunderland, like I said, they've made a lot of signings and everything. So this derby will be very interesting because obviously, Sunderland have been doing well. Newcastle have, been a bit up and down, especially in the last cut, obviously against Leverkusen, coming off of that draw and everything. Look, it's a derby. Anything can happen. I always say this about derbies, that form goes out the window. Anything can happen. Oh, I'm excited. I'm gutted. I'm gutted this is on at the same time as Spurs. I'm absolutely gutted because as a neutral, I just really wanted to watch this because I know what this derby means to both sides. It's incredible. It's a shame. I'm really annoyed that they scheduled it at the same time as Spurs. So
I don't know why the fact that both, you could say, cities are next to each other. Why not schedule it as the Sunday,
the late game? Yeah, exactly. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to me.
Like 3 other games at the same time. I know. City Palace and I think Villa play as well on that day.
Yeah, there's like 4 games all at 2:00 on Sunday. It's really weird. But
and now watch Sky Sports somehow put the Man City Palace game as the main game.
Probably. Yeah, but it's hard to call, isn't it? It will be a good game. I know you've got a lot to say, so I'll hand over to you very quickly. But look, I'm looking forward to seeing how this plays out. And I'm going to go prediction. Look, Newcastle haven't been good away from home this season. Sunderland are unbeaten at the Stadium of Light. But this is a derby, and anything can happen. And I'm going to sit on the fence. I'm going to go for 1-1. I'm going to go for a draw in this game. But don't count out Sunderland. I'm just saying, maybe we'll see some 10 tears.
No.
But it's hard to call. I'm going to go for a draw. I'm going to go for Sunderland 1, Newcastle 1.
Yeah. Obviously, this is a big fixture. Oh, God.
2-1
depends on how the game goes. But, yeah, I think this game, obviously...
You've been waiting for this for a long time.
Apart from the FA Cup game. But, yeah, I would say this is probably as big as, if you want to say British rivalries. It could be up there. Maybe not as big as, Celtic Rangers. But I could say it's, similar to a...
North London derby.
Villa Blues, Birmingham. Villa against Birmingham.
That's a good derby.
I don't really see any... Or West Ham, Millwall. It's probably at that level. Or I'm not sure. Maybe Portsmouth, Southampton. I don't know. Or who knows? Maybe Stoke against Port Vale. I
was going to say the North London derby is a big derby. I think it gets from outside of Spurs and Arsenal. I think it's a bit underrated personally.
Just
a derby.
Here's the interesting history, at least recent history. Apart from the FA Cup game, the last time before that we beat them was 2011.
It's not been good. I know you've lost 3-0 to them at home a couple of times as well.
And one of those games, a certain person that I mentioned a little bit earlier on the stream.
Yeah, I would have mentioned
him. His first name starts with Adam. I would
have mentioned him. He doesn't. Yeah. I would have mentioned him.
Yeah. The fact that they supported him during that time is a bit crazy, but it's the past. But Yeah, I would say for this game, it's obviously a big one. Hopefully, our sort of bad performance or whatever against Leverkusen is shaken off, and we do well in this game against this team. Um, I mean, the fact that I know they people are saying they started the season very well, but that's because newly promoted and all.
Well, they
But
have people aren't really talking about it, but they have sort of dropped off a little bit in the
yeah,
last few weeks. A
like
little
everyone's
bit.
saying, they've done really well.
I
And
mean,
actually,
they're still doing well.
it
But
does
they
taste
have,
good actually.
yeah. But I've heard it's good. But they have, nobody. They are still playing well, but they have actually dropped off a little bit in the
Yeah,
last few weeks.
like since the start of November, they've actually won one game, and they did come back against Bournemouth, but that was the only win they've got since the start of November, and we're like basically mid-December, more or less. So have they really been good? I think it's kind of leveled out, you could say. Like the fact that we are just a point behind them after they had this amazing
Yeah.
start to the
If you win,
season.
you go above them. I think
Yeah,
it kind of says a lot.
I think if I think it will also be like the first time we'd be above them ever this season. And the fact that it'll be in the door, if we beat them, we'll go above them, and that'll be the first time this season we actually be above them. This would be hilarious, and the fact that it's at their stadium would be funny. I mean, the good thing is that I'm not sure if they've made any reports that they are redecorating the stadium again to black and white. The fact that this was the FA Cup game almost 2 years ago, the fact that they decorated their own stadium or
For
like
you
a part of the stadium with black, they one of them was like they crossed out, put her way, they put her way, like the Newcastle way of saying it. The lads was funny, and then like what we all united, because that's what we usually put or whatever. Like the fact that they did that to their own
so
stadium.
funny. If I look,
Imagine Spurs doing that.
yeah,
Imagine
even
Arsenal or Chelsea.
we wouldn't do that. Even we wouldn't do that.
Yeah, I mean that kind of shows you that they put a lot of respect to us, I would say. Yeah, I know they're ninth, but if one of those draws ended up being a loss, they would actually be on the same point.
Listen,
They actually be above them.
10 is just rattled. He's rattled.
But yeah, in terms of the game, I know one of their players got sent off, but that's them. One of their own, like a player that they didn't buy. In fact, everyone's saying, "Oh, I feel so connected with this Sunderland team," but this team only really started playing together since August or whatever. They're basically doing what Forest did when they first got up. Forest. The only difference is that Forest, when the first 1 or 2 seasons, the results weren't as lucky. Whereas for Sunderland, I had some really luck.
I mean, come on. I think they've been a bit better than just lucky. I think.
I mean, like, how did they draw against Arsenal?
I think they deserved it. I think.
Chelsea.
Yeah, this is true.
I
think they deserved it. I think they deserved that draw against Arsenal.
And it's Brian Robbie.
Robbie. And I know you said if Robbie scores, you'll be even more pissed if Robbie scores.
I mean, I don't know. Is there any? The only Sunderland player, I mean, obviously none of them, but if there had to be one, I'd be like, meh, would be maybe Isidore. I don't know.
Well, they've got Xhaka.
God. I don't know what's his record against us when he was at Arsenal. A club that actually has trophies in the 21st century. I'm just saying, but I'm pretty sure that I know Sunderland. I forgot who said had 6 league titles, but when you think about the trophy, we actually have more trophies than Sunderland. I would say
you do.
We have. Now we have. I know it'll be at this stadium, but maybe we can bring the Carabao Cup so that Sunderland can put it up like in the middle, like where the match ball is, or they usually do the World Cup final. They put the trophy in the middle. How about they put the Carabao Cup in the middle? Because I'm not sure if Sunderland's ever won the Carabao Cup or whatever, and the fact that they're not even in the competition this season because they lost to Huddersfield.
See, like this is
Before
what I'm saying, guys.
Newcastle even came into the competition.
This is what I'm saying, guys. They're rolled up. 10 is rolled up for this.
Oh god, but
I'm telling you.
yeah, I mean this game, like, I mean obviously I have my experiences from. They always say 6 in a row, like as in like beating us 6 in a row during like the Canio and all that. But that was when both of our teams were shit. Now it's just they are shit, just them. Like when we actually became a good team, we beat them in the FA Cup. So
when Mike Ashley wasn't the owner anymore.
Yeah, basically. So technically, under the new ownership, we've won every game against them. So that should continue, I would think. So yeah, I mean, my experiences with the Derby haven't been the best, apart from the FA Cup. So that was one I was happy with, and that was actually the same day that Lugan and Atleti played on the same day. And big up to the one and only Donald Cullen.
Donald Cullen.
But I love Man City. Yeah. But overall, this my experiences, I would probably say the worst one of the 6 in a row they usually like to say wasn't actually the 3-0. It was actually the last minute 1-0. And I believe
Borini,
Borini or the
Italian striker,
or the certain player that I'm not going to mention. I'm not sure. It's one of those two. I would probably say. So I'm one, thankful both of them on playing, or I'm not sure if the other one is still in behind.
Oh yeah,
boards.
10. You're lagging. You're lagging.
Oh no. Well, hopefully I'll be the only one lagging. I'll be okay. But yeah, I guess I'm back.
Wait, leave and join again. Yeah, jump out and jump in again. I think it's been lagging for a while.
What if I turn off camera?
Oh yeah, try.
I'm back.
Yeah, still lagging.
Oh no, or it might be you or your internet, but
it might be. Yeah.
Okay, I hope if I refresh, it should be okay. Let me.
Yeah.
I hope this is okay. It doesn't end the stream. I hope.
Oh, and he's gone. But I think the stream is still going, luckily. But yeah, we just having a few technical difficulties while 10 gets rolled up for the derby as he comes back. I think there you go. Yeah, you're back. Okay. I think.
Wait, so then I think I could just do that. Switches up.
There we go. Anyway, yeah, you were saying you were you're rolled up for this Sunderland game.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, obviously my experiences with the derby haven't been that great, and I do know some Sunderland fans personally, like, even though I've never been to Sunderland or whatever, but yeah, I mean, obviously a big game, and we'll see how it would be for this one. But yeah, I think overall, my prediction.
Oh.
Okay, before I give a prediction, if we don't win this game, I'm Eddie Howe out.
For the second time. For the second time, people.
Yeah, because like I usually say, it's okay to lose to anyone else but them. I would say. So if you lose to them, that's sackable.
That's how I feel about Arsenal.
Yeah. So that means Thomas Frank sacked. Who knows? Or Eddie Howe if he loses or don't win. So I have to back us to win. It will be the first win in the Prem against them since August 2011.
Yeah, it's far too long. I know they've been in League One for 8 years, or like Championship as well, but it's far too long. Like your record in like the 6 in a row, yeah, it's disgusting for you guys. Like, you should never have that record in a derby.
Yeah, and that's how they somehow caught up in terms of the head-to-head. We're only ahead by 1 win, which was because of the FA Cup. So, we should be winning this.
They haven't lost at home though, Tim. They haven't lost
Yeah.
at the Stadium of Lights.
Yeah, but the thing is that like, I mean, yeah, they play Arsenal, but they haven't really played. Like, they didn't play Man City at home. They didn't play Liverpool at their stadium. Didn't play
That's true.
Chelsea.
Yeah,
They didn't play Man United. Haven't even played Spurs yet, at all.
that's true. Yeah,
I forgot who's the other big team, or maybe I said all of them.
Man
but,
United, Man United.
Oh yeah, and Man United.
They
beat
might beat Man United.
them. Nah, they lost to them the previous game.
They did, yeah.
But overall, in terms, as I said, if we don't win, Eddie Howe out. So prediction, I will go just like we did in the FA Cup, 3-0.
3-0.
I have to be confident, or just basically just win. But 3-0, just like the FA Cup. Maybe Jimmy Lord, is that his name? He scored an own goal in the FA Cup, so maybe he might do it again. I know a certain Liverpool striker, like this one, had a really good day against them. Not in the Prem, but in that FA Cup game. So, and obviously now we have Uesa, who actually I believe was is the 1,000th player to play for Newcastle.
Oh wow! Yeah, we forgot to mention earlier. Vissa's finally available for Newcastle.
Yeah, he played 1 minute against Leverkusen when we should have put him on 10 minutes earlier. But oh well. So if the game Vissa scores his first goal, well, on course. So maybe from a Newcastle rat to a Brentford rat, we'll beat Sunderland or whatever. So yeah, I'll go 3-0 for us, just because we are the better team. Like, on paper, we are better. Like, because one, we have trophies than them. We have, I believe. Well, I know we've surpassed our 100th game in all European competitions, whereas I think Sunderland have to reach 10. I think they've had only 4 or 5 games in their history in Europe, and that was probably against like teams from the Republic of Ireland or something, which I guess counts. So, I mean, yeah, they are a physical team, but I mean, we could also be physical as well. So we'll see. In terms of who I think will be starting, I'm actually grateful that Joe Lynn, not obviously, I don't wish injuries, obviously, on us. The game against Leverkusen, Smiley was the reason why we were almost about to beat Leverkusen. Because, yeah, obviously Miley scored, but Miley actually changed the game. He was a lot better than Joe Linton in that Leverkusen game. So, you know what? I want to start Miley, Tonali, and Bruno, and all. So we'll see. I think should be starting Baltimore. Maybe Wissa starts or whatever. And the good
you got to start Baltimore. You got to in this game. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, and then bring Wissa on to score the 5th goal of the game for us or something.
Let me ask you a question.
If we beat them 5-1 again, just like 2010, that'd be funny.
Let me ask you a question. You said 3-0 and that you're gonna like go there and batter them. Do you mean that prediction?
70%.
70%.
I'll say the worst thing that could happen is if we get dunked on by a hat trick from someone.
Robbie.
I think it's not as bad as like when Eze did it.
Oh, don't even remind me.
But I mean, if that somehow happens on us, I will say if we're winning the game even like 2 or 3-0, still turn it off in the 80th minute or something like that. But I'll say we have to have the, you could say, mentality to see out games if we are in a good.
Yeah, especially in the derby against Sunderland, like you have to have it. And let me ask you this as well. You said that if you lose this game, you'll officially be Eddie Howe out again. If you hadn't been on, like, inconsistent form and like you had a few bad results, if you were like
I
doing
mean,
better than you were now coming into this game, would you still be Eddie Howe out if you lost this game?
yes, because I think it's still really embarrassing.
Really, even if you were doing like much better in the league and the Champions League, you would still be Eddie Howe out if you lose this game.
Yeah, because for me, I'm like, if you lose to them, like that's sackable in my opinion. Because I'll be honest, let's say for Spurs' perspective, at least like Arsenal, big historic club.
They're not actually from North London. That's the funny thing. They're a South London franchise.
You do expect like Arsenal, Chelsea to be competing for trophies, so you could be okay, fair enough. But Sunderland, actually, when was the last time they actually won? Okay, if you really want to count trophies, the Championship playoff or the League One playoff trophies. They didn't even win the Papa Johns when they were in League One for 4 years.
So you're like, so I can just tell you're in like derby mode. I can just tell. This is probably this is your first experience of it for a while.
Yeah, so. I mean FA Cup kinda, but that's more like well, we'll see.
They're in the championship then. So
yeah, and we'll see. So I feel like overall, I will be Eddie Howe out if we don't win this game. Because for me, we have to be above them, and that would mean then we carry on out. Even though we have some tough games after them, because we have Chelsea at home and Man United in the league after. So, I mean, I would say, I wouldn't even mind if we lose to Chelsea and Man United in the league, but this team on Sunday, I would say that I'll be like, you know what? Just win this game, and we'll see. And then obviously the next time we play them is actually on the 17th of March, or around that time. But I will say I think that game will be rescheduled. And you want to know why? Because we'll be at Wembley once again, because that's the Cup final weekend, which we usually appear in. So they'll have to reschedule the derby to another day, because we are going to be at Wembley on that day to win. Maybe another trophy. We'll probably won't, but we'll be at Wembley on that weekend, just like we were the last season. So let's see.
Wow, you got a lot of chess right now. All the chess.
I mean, we should be going back to Wembley on that weekend. That's why I feel like they have to reschedule the derby to like April or May, and that'll be the home game for us. So I would say if we do the double on them, that would be funny. And if we beat them and go above them, that would be, as I said, the first time we actually be above them in the league this whole entire season, when they had the most amazing start that a newly promoted team has ever had. So we'll see. But I'll be honest, it's good to have a good start in August, September, October. But let's see who ends up winning a trophy. Or
I know, just ask Arsenal. The September champions, October champions, November champions. Yeah, just ask them. They know how it feels to start fast and then bottle it.
Yeah, but I mean, at least Arsenal are like first place. Has Sunderland ever been first place in the Prem? Probably ever in the history.
I don't know.
Because I know we've been first and bottled it as well. But at least we were first place at one point. Actually, we were first place. I remember when we beat Villa 5-1 on the opening game. But like, it didn't really matter. But we'll see about how we.
Yeah, this game is going to be like intense. That's going to be like that's going to be amazing.
Yeah,
like so I'm gutted they've put it at the same time as Spurs.
Yeah, I'm like, why? Like, just put it at the 4:30 or wherever that late kickoff time. Basically, I think
I can't wait to see your tears.
Oh no! I will be like, let's say if we don't win, I would, even if it's a draw, I won't have black lava or whatever, but whatever. For the
Disguise.
next stream,
Disguise.
if we don't win, and I'll change my thumbnail to me of something like I did with Charlie when
Me
SA
after the
won.
North London
I will
derby.
do that.
Listen, Poch was never top of the league for the amount of time that Arteta's been top of the league.
Yeah.
Plus, Arteta at least Poch actually got to finals. Since Arteta won the cup, you know, he hasn't even been close to a final. Plus, I agree with you, Poch. I'm not even a Poch fan like most of our fans are. I don't think he's a good manager anymore. But I'm just saying that this. Plus, Arteta spent way more money than Poch. Poch was never backed. Poch had no money. You know, Arteta's had about $1 billion to spend, and look what's happened. You know, you just Angus, you can't deny that you've bottled it. You bottle it all the time. You can't make you're just making things up. So,
if you ask, how many years has it been since Sunderland won a trophy, as in like a major trophy? About so that you know what,
no
Manchester City, I love Manchester City. The fact that they beat them 3-0 last weekend, but the last time Sunderland in a final of a major competition was that 2014 EFL Cup back in the day, and Man City won that game as well against Sunderland. So
wait, didn't Sunderland go 1-0 up in that game?
Yeah, after like a minute or something.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, that was. See, Waffle, look, Angus, look, you know, we're cool, but like, listen, like, you know, you got to be more humble.
I mean, we'll see. I mean, I don't really mind Angus being humble. I just want the team on Sunday to be humbled.
To be fair, Ten. So you're lucky you don't have this one Sunderland fan in the chat. Like I have this one Arsenal fan.
Yeah, at least we have I guess Aston Villa, right? Aston Villa.
Big up to Dantrum as well.
But we'll see on the derby.
And as of right now, you've won nothing. As of right now,
we'll find out. Well, some don't even know if they've won. Well, they beat Bournemouth, but haven't won a game since the start of November. And to be honest, they probably have beaten Bournemouth as well.
Yeah, they were 2-0 down in that game.
Yeah. So I mean, probably this thing later on Sunday. But yeah, I guess enough talk about the derby. And we'll move on because there is a game still in midweek. A competition that I clown on not just his team, but Sunderland as well. Because unfortunately, as I said, we're knocked out by Huddersfield Town on a League One Huddersfield Town. And obviously we beat Spurs in the cup. But yeah, EFL Cup games happening this upcoming week. I know the Arsenal Palace game is the week after. And
yeah, it's weird. They've kind of like done like some scheduling, like weird scheduling. It's
yeah.
Weird.
I think it's because Conference League is back-to-back weeks.
Angus, you're not winning the Premier League and the Champions League. I can tell you that for a fact right now.
Yeah.
I can tell you that for a fact.
But
you don't have the mentality. Your team has loser mentality.
Yeah. But yeah. The Carabao Cup, we have Fulham at home, which we always get home ties in this competition nowadays. And even FA Cups sometimes. Not really FA Cups, but this competition, yeah. And if we were to win this game against Fulham, which I think will be back-to-back wins, I'm hoping, then we would be in the semi-final, which I 1000% know. If Arsenal beat Palace, I know 1000% they are going to draw Newcastle and Arsenal together again. I know.
Second year in a row.
I bet. But obviously, we have to beat Fulham, which I think is a much better team than the team we play on Sunday. So I would say I'm more worried about this game against Fulham than I am against a team on Sunday. So obviously, because you could see Fulham make a shock, even though I don't think Fulham will win the cup. That's the thing. But yeah,
this is just crazy.
But we'll see. But yeah, against Fulham, it'll be tough. Obviously,
yes, we are from North London. We are from North London. This whole Middlesex thing is just an excuse that you guys use that you were actually from Woolwich, and you have a cannon as an emblem. Yet, when you go to Woolwich, there's cannons everywhere. All the cannons, all the everything. I wonder why.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Maybe in Middlesex or Tottenham.
You're from the south. You say Middlesex. You're from the south side of the river. There's a big difference.
Yeah, but we're actually talking. Well, we are playing a team north of, actually originally, I believe, north of the river. Fulham, I believe, or technically they're on the river.
Central London. Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously we did play them in the league and won 2-1.
Exactly. This is what I'm saying. Exactly. We were never from the south side of the river. There's a big difference. There's a massive difference. You're from the south side of the river. There's a big difference.
Yeah, but against Fulham, as I said, we did beat them 2-1 in the Prem, which was like one of our only wins at that time. But obviously now, I think we've kind of, to be honest, we've actually been unbeaten since the international break, except Marseille. So I would probably will say, obviously we will have a winning form heading into this game. So, but obviously I do think this will be a tough game against Fulham, I would say, because I think they are a very good team, and they did beat us both home and away last season. But obviously this season we did beat them, so at least that's something. And obviously if we win, we reach the semi-final, which means an extra 2 games at least. And to be honest, I know people will say, oh, I don't want extra 2 games. For me, to win the cup, so we'll see. In terms of prediction for this game against Fulham, I will probably go with I'll go with another 2-1 win against them, I would say. I think it'll be a kind of similar story to like a Leverkusen Spurs, whereby 2 or even Burnley 2-1 up and somehow get the job done and hopefully reach the semi-final for the 3rd time in 4 years in this competition, and hopefully the second trophy. What do you call this?
Oh my God, what is going on?
We'll be back-to-back champions, maybe, but we'll see. But yeah, what are your thoughts on a competition that you don't really have much to deal with?
Yeah, it's a shame. Obviously, you guys are still in it at the expense of us. Obviously, knocking us out all the way back in October in the last round, which I sadly went all the way up to Newcastle in the away end to watch, which obviously wasn't great. But look, obviously, I'm gutted we're not still in the competition with a chance of winning a trophy. But it's another great opportunity for you guys. Obviously, being the Carabao Cup holders, you have the chance to get to the semi-finals once again. And Fulham at home, it's a kind draw. If it is definitely a kind
probably
draw.
not as good as like Cardiff, I would say.
I mean, Cardiff, that was like Chelsea got like the massive slice of like. Yeah, big up to Jordan. Yeah, I followed you back. So yeah, big up to you. Yeah, I think Fulham. Look, it's hard to say because Fulham, obviously, I know they beat us recently, but
they did play actually.
They played Palace. They lost 2-1,
and then this coming weekend they have. Before us is Wolves. No, also have Wolves. Forgot.
Who do they have? Fulham have this weekend.
Well,
Burnley. They got Burnley away, so maybe they'll win that. But I think Fulham at home. Look, you guys seem to raise your game for the Carabao Cup in general. Despite your kind of inconsistency, you're still very good at home overall. And I think that this, I have no idea what's going on in the chat. I'm not getting involved in whatever this is. But yeah, I think you win. Look, you're going to raise your game. I think whatever happens in the derby, I think that you're I'm not getting involved. I have no idea. What's going on. But
no.
Listen, guys. What I will say is just don't go personal. If anyone's trying to go personal, don't make it personal in the chat. This is entirely. So I'm speaking to Ed, and this goes for anyone in the chat. It's entirely about football. Don't go personal when having like a debate or whatever. But so yeah, just a quick message to the chat. So yeah, hopefully you guys take that on board. But Yeah, I think you win. I think you win this game. I think you win. I think you're going to win 2-0. I think you're going to win 2-0. I think you're going to raise your game for the cup as you usually do. Obviously, Eddie Howe and Newcastle seem to love this competition. So, yeah, 2-0 Newcastle, and I think you'll have once again another spot in the semi-finals where hopefully you're playing Crystal Palace. So,
Or Cardiff.
or yeah, or Cardiff.
To be honest, I'll say, I'll be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if the expected team to make the semis, Man City, Chelsea, Newcastle, Arsenal, all to make it. That's what I think will happen. I feel like, unfortunately, because you want a fairy tale. Hopefully not Fulham, but maybe Palace.
Yeah, look, I want Palace. That's why I want Palace to go through because they're playing Arsenal. So there you go. But I do think Newcastle get through. I do.
Yeah,
So.
I mean we'll find out, but yeah, I guess after 2 hours, we can finally wrap up the stream.
Yeah.
I mean it's been a good show. Obviously, talking about Spurs and Newcastle. With obviously the big game of the weekend being Forest against Spurs, obviously. Um, but
Now I'll tell you what, that the derby's going to be insane. I can just there's going to be like a red card as well. I can
yeah,
just I can,
for
I can just
Jimmy
feel
Ballard or something. But
it.
yeah, I mean we'll see how that goes. But yeah, shout yourself out.
Yeah, 10, thanks for having me on. Of course, big up to everybody watching on both channels, 10's channel and my channel. Make sure you're subscribed to both. Big up to the chat today as well. We had a lot of people in the chat. Big up to every single one of you guys. Again, just a quick message. Don't if you're debating whatever, don't go personal in the chat. It's just keep it about football. That's all I'm gonna say. But yeah, once again, big up to everybody that watched today. And yeah, another great show. Obviously, should be an interesting weekend, especially with the derby. Yeah, see, THFC Max, you're right. I can sense it in 10 that he's shitting it. I can sense
We'll
it.
see on Sunday after the game. But yeah.
But yeah, listen, great show again. Subscribe to both channels, and yeah, come next week. It should be quite interesting, I imagine.
Hopefully good for me. At least for that. At least for one game. I don't mind if we get knocked out. At least win this game on Sunday. But we'll see. But yeah, obviously for me, obviously have my La Liga show and all tomorrow, and then I guess the next time you really see me is after that would be La Piña Rosa, which we always do on Mondays.
Listen, Palermo's playing tomorrow. We need a big win
Yeah.
against Sampdoria. We're playing tomorrow, so
I think Deportivo play. They actually changed the game to Saturday because they rescheduled it for the Copa del Rey. But yeah, we'll do one more chat and we'll end it here. Oh, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, I can smell the fear. I can smell the fear for a fact. I can smell it.
But yeah. So yeah, we'll see you guys in the next one, and hopefully I'm not wearing a black cover or something to hide my face on the next time we are on this show. But yeah, see you guys in the next one.
Take care.